Hello, my name is Cissy Crusoe, and this will be my third video regarding grief the unspoken and grief sharing. And for those who's been following me, I've already made 2 videos that tells my story about what I had gone through regarding the loss of my big brother and then losing my mom and my dad a 1.5 years apart. My mom's death being the most recent, which was 1 year and 10 months ago. What I want to do in this video is talk to those who are still grieving, who are still hurting, who are still dealing with those raw emotions, who just lost a family member and you're having a hard time wrapping your brain around it, and your heart is just completely crushed to where you feel like that you're dead too from within, and you're very depressed and hurting. You're the ones that I want to talk to, because I've been there. There are 2 groups of people in this world when it comes to dealing with death. There are those who can bury their loved ones and then not feel anything other than life goes on. The second group are those who grieve, who mourns, and it may take months, it may take years. With me, I'm in the second group. It takes me about 2 years to stop hurting to where my heart doesn't have that deep ache. I'm the type that when I deal with the death, it takes my breath away to where I can't breathe, and I have panic attacks, I have heart palpitations, and I cry, and I got angry, and I was dealing with agony. I was hurting, and my mind would go to that very dark place of depression to where, I was angry at everything and everyone because I didn't understand why I had to lose 3 family members the way I did. And I'm not going to go into their death because I've already done it in 2 videos. This one is what I had to do in order to be a survivor, because I felt like I was being left behind. First of all, I am a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus, who is the Messiah. I believe in heaven, and I believe in the angels. I also believe there is a hell, and I believe the devil is very, very real, and he is among us. He walks with us in this society that we call Earth, depending on where you're from. I'm from the state of Oklahoma, and the devil has his people. They're walking among us. And the ones who are the most vulnerable, the people who are weak, are the ones that the devil sends his people to try to destroy, to try to hurt. And that's why, we're seeing a lot of chaos, not only in our town, county, or state, or country, around the world. I mean, the devil is being very busy. But who are the most vulnerable people right now? Those are the ones who are the grievers. Because you lost someone. And it doesn't matter how they died. A loss is a loss. And Jesus does not judge a person on how they died. He judges them by how they lived. and by the choices that they make. When it comes to what He expects from each and every one of us, because we were given a free will to make a choice. And the Bible is very clear when it comes to the New Testament about how Jesus, expects us to live, and He knows that we're not perfect beings. He too knows what grief feels like. He too knows what losing someone that He loved when He was, of human form. I mean, He lost His dad, Joseph. He has watched people kill people. He has seen how people has price gouge and manipulate and use people in the wrong way, and even Him was being tested and tempted by the devil. But Jesus kept His focus, and He leaned on His Heavenly Father, and He was a true believer that there is life after death. So, to get back to us, the grievers, everyone deals with death differently. To lose your parents, man, that's hard. I lost both of mine, and it hurt. And then losing my big brother, that even hurt. And the reason why it hurts is because you no longer have that physical contact, and you are a part of your parents and your brother, or it could be your sister, a sibling. I mean, you are one. You have the same DNA, and you're just connected. And when you lose a close family member that you loved unconditionally, I mean, that is hard. It is hard to find understanding and acceptance. It takes me about 2 years to get rid of that hurt. You have to go through the steps of grief, and you also need to know and understand the difference between grief and depression, because those are two different diagnoses. One is an emotion, and the other one is more of a disease. And when you get a double whammy when it comes to having both grief and depression, I mean, it can really do you some harm. So what I want to talk to you about, and it's what I had to do to survive. First of all, I end up talking to people who were grievers, where I did join a counseling group, where I had an understanding what I was feeling, what I was going through. And once I found that understanding, I was able to take baby steps in trying to heal, because when it came to my losses, I couldn't breathe, and I would cry, and my heart hurt like I was having a heart attack, and I would have these panic attacks, a separation anxiety disorder. And when you are around other people who does not understand that kind of loss, that kind of pain, and then when you're dealing with people who are mean, who taunts you, who harasses you, and bullies you, and tries to push you down when you're already hurting. I mean, that is the devil. But you got to find that inner strength. You have to believe in something that you can't see, and you need to know that it's real. When it comes to my mom and my dad and my brother, they loved me and I love them. And when you die, that love goes with you to heaven. And it's through that love. It's like comparing it to the wind. You can't see it, but you can feel it. And I can feel my mom and dad and my brother. I could feel them all the time now. And I know that Jesus is real because I had a near-death experience myself. It was July 5th, 2012, I dissected an internal carotid artery. And it was July 28th, after I was being misdiagnosed all this time, I went to Oklahoma City, and that's when they saw that I dissected an internal carotid artery in the base of my brain near the circle de Willis, and I had 95% blockage. And what I experienced, and then listen to what my mom and my two brothers, were telling me. I mean, my heartbeat was so faint. I saw myself surrounded by this bright light. It was going through me. And in this light, which was the light, was Jesus. And I saw him. And it was through him I had an opportunity to see my dad. And I remember running up to my dad saying, "Dad, you left without saying goodbye to me." And he was part of this light. The light was going through him. And my father, he was my dad, but he was younger. And I saw a glimpse of heaven. And I'm telling you, Jesus is real. The angels are real. Heaven is real. There is life after death, and Jesus does not judge us by how we die, but how we live. And I just know that my dad says that I had to keep a promise that I made to him, and that was to take care of my mom. And while my dad was talking to me, I could hear my mom from a distance asking me to come back to her, and she was praying to Jesus. And she was crying, "Do not take my second child away from me. I need my daughter." And Jesus came up to me, and he put his hand on the back of my head where that dissected artery was. And he told me it wasn't my time yet, that I had to go back. And I came back to only watch my mom die 6 months later. And that is what I was angry about. Why I had to come back to watch my mom die. Well, it's because my mom needed me. She needed me to be there for her and to take care of her. And I understand now why I had to do a job that was very stressful, that was very hard. I mean, I was in the medical field, and I was a case manager. And I was trained and groomed and taught how to help people transition from life to death. And it was after my mom's death, I couldn't do it anymore. I was a robot, and I was very emotional, and I was very vulnerable, and I couldn't handle that stress. And also during this time, I was dealing with some mean people people who were bullies, who harassed, who stalked, who were tormenting me. And I really didn't understand why, other than they were instruments of Lucifer, Satan. But there were a lot of people who were also being instruments through Jesus Christ, who I call earth angels. And those are the people that I turn to. And those are the people that has been walking with me through my journey of grief. And I can tell you, I'm going on a year and 10 months now without losing my mom, and I'm getting stronger. And I'm laughing more, and I'm living and feeling more alive than I have in the past 8 years, going back to when I lost my brother. I'm finally picking up the broken pieces. Now, there are days when I hear the thunder rolling. See, my mom died in a thunderstorm. So when I hear thunder, I go back to when she died. With my father, now he just fell over dead with a heart attack like he was hit with a bolt of lightning. But because of what I had to experience by my dissection, I was given a miracle to where I was able to see my dad. I was able to see where he went to when he died. And it gave me comfort knowing that my dad is in heaven. And he is waiting, for my mom to come. And my brother is there, as well as other family members and friends that has died, long before, I lost my brother. I mean, they're all there. And that is what is keeping me strong. So for those who are feeling numb, who still hurt, who are going through the first experiences without your loved one when it comes to dealing with birth dates and death dates and the holidays, you're just going to have to be strong. With me, the way I dealt with it, I just walked, I cried. I didn't really celebrate Christmas or Thanksgiving or Easter. I would try to go to church, and that helped. I haven't gone to church in a long time. When I say a long time, it's been several months since I've been back to church. And it's not that I don't want to go. It's just the fact that I don't like sitting by myself without my family. And I look around and I see all these other people with their families. It's just hard. And I get my comfort just going outside and feeling the warmth of the sun and being in the light. And I can talk to Jesus and I can talk to God. I read my Bible. But the main thing is the company that I am picking to be with. There are a lot of good people. People who understands. And right now, if you are dealing with a loss where the funeral's over and it's quiet and it's just now hitting you, you got to go through these emotions. And you don't need to numb it with popping pills and getting yourself drunk or shut yourself completely down from those who loves you the most. I know that I understand what you're going through. And if you're on any of the closed groups, the Grief the Unspoken, or other support groups when it comes to dealing with grief, I mean, that's where you got to start. And just open up and vent, scream, yell, cuss. You got to get it out of your system. And it's okay, you know, that it's taking you longer to get over it. There's no time frame when it comes to dealing with grief. Everyone is different. So, I hope this video helps you. Where I'm asking you, as someone who is now experiencing this, you're not alone. Don't let go of your faith. Jesus is real. All you have to do is pray to Him and talk to Him. And in the least moment that you expect, He's going to give you a sign. And when you receive it, it will be a glorious one. It will be a miracle. And for those who has done you wrong, you got to forgive them. You don't have to forget, but you need to forgive them. And just stay away from them. I mean, if they're bringing you down, if they're upsetting you, if they're causing you distress, I mean, break ties. Don't hate them, but just break ties with them. Because you don't need any negativity in your life. And you don't need anyone to try to use you and take advantage of you when you're very vulnerable. That was done to me. I mean, I was so numb and I was hurting. And I wasn't staying focused on anything. And I did have some people that took advantage of me. And now that when, you know, you need them the most, they're not there. I mean, all they wanted, you know, for me was my money, me to buy them things. That was the only reason why they wanted to be my friends. I found out who my real friends are. They're the ones that had pulled me up by my bootstraps, giving me that lecture and telling me, stand upright, hold your head upright, and believe in Jesus, and to believe that everything's going to work itself out, where a door's going to open for you. And it will happen. I have come a long way since July 27, 2013. I am stronger. I'm doing things that are more positive, that is healthier, that's fun. And I feel more alive now than I have since 2007. It's about living. It's about surviving. So, I'm going to end this video by telling you that life is beautiful. In French, it's called La vie est belle. And again, Jesus doesn't judge us by how we die, but how we live. And I hope that when it's your time, you'll be able to release the grief that's holding you back, to where you can smile again, where you can release that pain and know that your loved one is watching you. Your loved one is hearing everything that you're saying. And your loved one is waiting for you. And if your loved one is able to tell you, when it comes to speaking to you, your loved one will tell you it's time to stop hurting. It's time for you to get up and live for me. Make me proud. It's time for you to rise. and reach to greatness. When it comes to being a parent, when it comes to being a survivor, when it comes to having a career where you're passing it forward by helping those who's going through what you're going through right now overcome their weaknesses. It's a tough world that we're in right now, but we're survivors. So please understand that my message to you is you're not alone, and there's always a griever that you can talk to that understands you, that will help you get through it. Peace out, and God bless.